Now today's episode is an interesting one, and quite a big one. We have a few things to take care of. First of all though, welcome back to my team and welcome back to the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Now, check out the last race guys, link up in the top right. If you're going to enjoy this particular video, then leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes and subscribe for more daily F1 content. Now, in the background we have a contract renewal situation. I'm going to renew Pierre's contract just because I don't really want to change drivers after half a season, so I want to give him the opportunity to prove me wrong. So we'll go ahead. I do want to win the Constructors and Pierre has been letting me down, but we'll give him a chance. So we're going to sign him back up. To go with that though, we've also got sponsorship renewals, and to go with that as well, breaking news, mid-season transfers, and they're big transfers as well. So you can see the three drivers that have swapped around. Dan Ticktum has replaced Charles Leclerc at Ferrari. Leclerc has moved to McLaren, and because of that, Guan Yu Zhou, who has only been at McLaren for half a season, has moved to Ticktum's former car in Aston Martin. So big news heading into this race weekend, and the thought of Leclerc in the McLaren just feels weird, especially with the Mercedes badge on the right side of his chest. So yeah, we'll see what happens. This weekend though, we've got rain forecast for qualifying. However, we've got one big issue, and that is I made a mistake which you're about to see, and it was during the preparation for the qualifying session. Oh shit. Now you may have noticed we went straight into qualifying and I forgot to adjust the difficulty. I was kind of half giving myself a bit of a manicure, not really focusing too much, and lack of focus, I forgot to change the difficulty. So we are locked in at 102% AI when I normally run about 98 in qualifying. So it's going to be a really tough task because usually I run 102 for the race. So with that in mind, we're going to try and salvage something. We're going through the setup now, making sure we can make as many changes as possible to give us a chance to get through. And to be fair, it's going to be probably a blessing in disguise that it's raining, because we're usually a bit quicker in the rain. So yeah, setup modifications have been made, and with that said, we take to the track. Now we are trying to find a bit of space on track as we let Latifi go by on the end of the first sector, but then straight away out of here, up ahead, Latifi has a crash and completely stacks it. So Latifi out of qualifying already with a huge moment out of the long right-hander at Schrijvlak. And yeah, with that said, we then went on to start our first lap in qualifying on the intermediate tyres with the rain. So into turn one, it didn't go off to the best start as we have a huge double front lockup. Not quite sure how that was so bad. You know, our pressure was on 80%. Maybe the brakes weren't fully calibrated. Either way, we pushed on with the lap, and through the chicane I'm actually going to invalidate. So yeah, not really ideal, and that's not going to do us any favours. Luckily, no underfloor damage. Just double checking my tyre temps, and we're basically going to commit and finish the lap anyway to give ourselves a delta reference, as we have a moment through the banking, and we're going to go for a second push lap in a row. 12 minutes to go. You may notice the rain is already starting to slow down. I think at this point it's actually stopped, and we're just running on a drying track. We're about 6/10 up though.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left
as we make our way into the final sector. At this point, the tyres were on the limit of temperature, like they were starting to get a little bit hot with the light yellow. We make a bit of a mess of the penultimate corner, and then the final corner as well. They're just struggling for grip and oversteering, but out the final corner we go up into the line, and it's going to be nearly 0.7 of a second improvement as we jump up into P9. And yeah, after that we decided to bring the car back into the pits as it looked like the track was about to switch to dries, which wasn't really ideal. I was hoping for Q1 to stay wet. That would have given us the best chance to go through, because I know on a drying track the AI are going to be so much quicker than us. So yeah, onto the soft tyres. Luckily, with about 3 minutes to go, the track was actually fully dry. There was no drying track phase, so we might get away with this. On this lap, you can see we're purple in both sectors. Of course, we are the first car on the dries, but I actually decided to abandon the lap. And the reason for that is because I wasn't fully satisfied with it. I felt like there was more pace And if I could get a second chance and, you know, let the track rubber in a little bit and, you know, also get my tyre temps slightly more under control, I started the lap a bit too high, we may improve. The only downside is that we're not going to optimize the timing, so essentially there are going to be some dodgy, bugged out lap times with the AI because we're out of sync. So essentially I wanted to basically start the lap with a minute and 16 plus to go so that I could cross the line in time before the session ends, but that didn't really work out. So, ramble aside, we're going to go for a lap and see if we can find something. Hopefully, us backing off our previous lap will be justified. Into turn 1, at 50, down to 4th gear, keeping it nice and tight, especially towards the second part of the apex, as we get a nice drive out of there. Into turn 2, 3, trying to carry that speed, keep it nice and tight through 4, get back on the power as soon as possible, and launch it up the hill. Sector 1 done, as we prepare Schreivlak, the long right-hander, as we keep the car nice and tight to the right to minimise meters. Missing the apex a little bit through there, but that's not really the worst case scenario, as we've got an arrow appear out of nowhere. And I don't know who it is, but they've gained like a second through the last 2 corners. And I think, yeah, whoever it is clearly faster than us as we go on to the back straight, DRS open. And it's actually Verstappen as well. So we're actually indirectly holding Max up here as we head into the final sector. We run a little bit deep into there, not quite getting the first apex. Now out of there into the final couple of corners, trying to make sure we end the lap strongly. And the lap times are tumbling and constantly improving as we're now P18 out the final corner, DRS open, we pull out of the way to not give Max any slipstream. Across the line we go. Is it enough to get into Q2? We'll find out shortly. The answer is no. We're out. P17. Oh boy. And that's kind of what I meant with the lap times. You know, you wouldn't normally see Haas, you know, well, not Haas, you wouldn't normally see Alpha or Williams really that high up. Verstappen only P10, so we did get held up, but unfortunately we missed out by less than a tenth. So, yeah, qualifying over, bit of a shame really, not really what I had in mind, but my bad, we got the difficulty wrong, and that's what happens if you don't focus, you make a mistake, you pay the price. However, in hindsight, it was worth backing off for a second lap. You can see my first sector and my second sector were better. We found about 2.5, nearly 3 tenths. So overall, it was a good decision to back off and go for a second lap. I think there was, you know, you can always find half a tenth to get through. But anyway, that's it for qualifying, guys. P17. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and for the drive for transfers. The race will be not tomorrow, it will be the day after, because tomorrow we have F1 2022 game news. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, as always, a massive thank you to the channel members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with some F1 22 game news. Until then, take care, and let's go out from me.